Hi everyone, welcome to another week of Fashion Talk Tuesday. This is a really fun topic that we have today. We're super excited first to say thank you so much for all the subscribers, all the likes that we've received. We have received so much great feedback about this new format, and we just want to say thank you so much.
Yes.
It's August. It's almost September. And if you know, September is a huge month for fashion. It is Fashion Month. So you were thinking New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, Copenhagen, Milan. Lord, maybe if I'm missing one, let me know.
Yeah.
But this is what we're dedicating this show to. 4 cities, 1 fashion week, and how it truly maps out the fashion industry and it takes flight for the year and how fashion is received.
So you guys know the fashion world cycles through New York, London, Milan, and Paris. Like it's the following some unspoken rule book. Now, Monica, I want to ask you, when it comes to these fashion weeks, who do you think have the best fashion week?
I think that each fashion week has its own individual feel, has its own individual unique like spirit about it. New York is one that I'm more familiar with, and I know that we've kind of addressed that New York is more now for an opportunity to sell.
Let's pause real quick. So let our audience know, what are we doing next month?
So we will be at New York Fashion Week this
Woo!
year. It's Fashion Talk Tuesday's first New York Fashion Week together.
Yes.
And we're excited to just kind of immerse ourselves in the whole experience, network, meet people, be in rooms where fashion is truly appreciated. It's about emerging designers. You know, that's a big part of what we love and we love to talk about and we love to highlight. It's people who truly are changing the game in their own lane and also creating designs and a collection that speaks to who they are. And also, if they're from the PNW, that's a plus. New York is about e-commerce. It's about selling. We, even when we're talking about Fashion Week, I was like, let's go thrifting. Let's see who we can buy from. What pop-ups are going to be there? And over the years, I've seen a lot of different a change in New York Fashion Week. Now, I haven't been every year, so let me preface that by saying that I'm not the go-to person who knows everything about New York Fashion Week, but I have seen differences in between what people are doing there versus Paris versus Copenhagen versus Milan.
Yes.
When it comes to New York, people are going to want to buy. They know they're going to New York to get the more, rare pieces, the pieces that everybody doesn't have, vintage pieces. There's a great vintage market and a community there, and opportunities to buy from some of their favorite designers, creatives, and small businesses. And I think that's where we are, we're looking to find people that we may have missed on social media. We may not have had opportunity to kind of like get to know in that arena, in that space. And also you get that face-to-face, moment where you're able to talk to somebody, put a face with a name, put a face with a brand, and that makes it a little bit more special.
Would you say that New York is more accessible to the outside public, or do you think it's exclusive, or do you think it's both?
I think it used to be exclusive. And it was for the designers, it was for people, the professionals that's in the fashion industry. But now it's become a world where you can step into and actually see if it helps you gain more traction in your own business. As small business owners, you're like, how can I market myself? How can I get eyes on my business? How can I get sales? And a big part of New York Fashion Week now is not just to be exclusive. It is, because there still shows you it has to be invite only.
Yes.
And that's okay. But now you get shows where people can buy tickets to. You can, it's open to the public. There are street style fashion shows that you can just walk up and just be a part of, because it's about the creativity too. Like now people can say, oh, I just love fashion. And necessarily if I don't want to have sales, I still want to have a show that, highlights what people are doing and that we can all come together and just kind of bask in being in this fashion moment all together.
So we did touch on New York. And London, when I think of London, I think of creativity. With that, London has been historically a place where designers can take more risk and challenge what fashion is supposed to look like. But I don't know. Do you agree with that? Because I kind of I don't know. So when I think about London, I think of creativity. And historically, London is known for taking risk and also just making fashion what it's supposed to look like.
I remember a few months ago there was a huge understanding of what the London fashion scene was like. And there has been a lot of creators and influencers from London that have just kind of bridged the gap between American fashion and also London fashion. So I agree with you. The creativity portion of that has been huge, and it's actually influenced a lot of the shopping and buying that's in American fashion communities here as well. When I think of Milan, I think it sells craftsmanship and manufacturing muscle. Milan has always had an opportunity for people to bring true collections from Milan. We always look forward to what's coming out of Milan from a manufacturing perspective, and also just from a Paris fashion week. It sells heritage and final validation.
Yes, luxury.
Luxury. If people didn't say it came from Paris Fashion Week, did we even really want to think about it or look at it? No. Now, I don't know if that's always a staple now anymore, because Paris used to kind of legitimize what a fashion house was about. Okay, the Gucci's, the Louis Vuittons, all of them, they were legitimized by Paris Fashion Week.
Wait, because I gotta rewind that back. Because when you think of, okay, I'm gonna start some trouble. But with Louis Vuitton, where did they get that print from? An African tribe. So, yeah.
And then try to make it theirs, and then they, made it a luxury house. So when we think about that, I think that's changing. I think Paris is no longer the stamp of approval for fashion houses, and I don't think it necessarily makes somebody worth buying or not worth buying, or considered luxury or not considered luxury. I think we're getting away from that. I think people want to buy something that feels authentic, feels organic, feel creative. And don't get me wrong, the luxury market's not going anywhere. The luxury resale opportunities are not going anywhere. We truly want to see that, but when it comes to being the stamp of approval, I think that has grown, and we don't necessarily need to lean into Paris anymore for that.
Yeah, and I also think that Africa Fashion Week needs to be put on the map, because
shout out Lagos Fashion Week.
Listen, we can't even, it can't compare, like the quality of the clothing. So how do designers choose a city based on where they are in their career? So when I think of emerging designers, I think they start off in New York. And I say that because they need the visibility, they need the community, the buyers, and a chance to experiment. And we were talking about how with New York, it's more Americanized, and it's also focused on commercialism. So I feel like it's best for an emerging designer to start off in New York so they can get their name out there. But when you think about social media, I don't know, because when you're on social media, you can kind of build a platform for yourself, because you have so many views, so many eyes, and everybody's on social media now. So it's like, do designers necessarily need Fashion Week?
I think there's always been a traditional path that they felt designers needed to take, and just like a model, you got to go through and put your work in, put your grind in order to get to these particular spaces and in these particular rooms. But I think that there is no longer a traditional route, like, oh, I got to start out grunting, I got to start out working for somebody else, I got to start out this and that and third. People truly can now create their own lane, and they can start in Paris. I think we have so many people who've traveled, who went to different countries, who made an opportunity to actually start somewhere else versus having to start in New York, because that's not, just like anything in life, everybody's path is not the same. The rooms that and connections and networks that we have, people are networking far past the New Yorks, far past the the Milans and the Paris. There's Seoul Fashion Week, there's Korean, Japanese Fashion Week. There's so many different collections and designers that come from a melting pot of places that have not had to take that traditional formatting when it comes to, oh, I have to start in New York in order to be kind of graduate to the bigger leagues, which is the Milans and the Parises. We talked about Copenhagen. Copenhagen is something that is growing on the map. I am still learning more about their fashion weeks and how they show up, and what it's the beauty and significance of theirs. But from the content that we're seeing, that people truly just want to be somewhere in a city that appreciates the art and craftsmanship of fashion. And I think that there's no longer an opportunity, and it could just be me. I just feel like everybody don't have to go down that path. You remember growing up, we have to, in order you graduate high school, you go to college, you get married, you have a kid. That is what it felt like. And no longer are those days where you have to do that. You can actually like chart your own territory, your own path,
Exactly.
the way that it makes sense for you, and whatever door opens up there to make you, and if you come back to that, go back to that, that's perfectly okay. But now you have the opportunity to do it your way.
Now, question, do you think designers should earn their way in these fashion capitals, or can a strong digital presence change that path?
So let's talk about it, okay? Because it is something that we are having so many different conversations about now. Charting your own path and actually like having to go by building your resume, doing the grunt work first. I just feel like it's the thing of the past. Like, I think that social media now gives people platforms. I've seen tons of people say, oh, I'm gonna start out doing my business one way on social media, build up my following, and completely pivot. A good example of that, and I know this has been in the news recently, is Kai Cenat. He is a streamer, gamer, all those things, and now he's pivoting to starting a fashion house or collection. I can't remember if it's all of that, but that's where he's going, and it gives us an opportunity to see a pivot in real time based on social media.
Yeah. So who actually holds the power in the room? Is it the buyers, the influencers, the celebrities? What do you think?
I think in our day of being a celebrity and everybody want to be famous and be a celebrity, I don't know which one works for you. I think that it is a opportunity for everyone to have a stake in the game. When it comes to celebrities, when it comes to buyers is one thing. That's what we want to buy. We want people to use their money to fund these, collections, to buy, and then to, actually walk away with a piece from the collection. The celebrity is going to be there wearing free pieces because they're not in conjunction with the brand. They're working with a partner in order to put a larger face for the brand. It could turn into a collaboration where now they're promoting the brand, they're doing marketing for the brand. That's always a good thing. And when I think about these types of things, when it comes to celebrity collections, fashion, I think it's a opportunity for a brand to become bigger. So think about the Super Bowl. When someone does the Super Bowl halftime show, they're not getting paid for it. No, it is an opportunity for them to highlight their next album coming out, to just get some more eyes on their music, and to actually benefit from the eyes that are on there now. It's one of the largest platform and stages in America.
That's true.
So everybody's talking about it up there. Now you got a chance to just announce, oh, I got a whole album coming out. So that's what I think happens when celebrities, influencers, and get into these fashion shows. It's about who is in the room. So now it creates eyes on this brand. And just from a business-minded perspective, now it's generating money from a social media perspective, from a eyes on your website perspective. Now, oh, it looked great on that particular celebrity. I wonder how it's going to look on me.
But honestly, Monica, when you think about it, you don't even really see celebrities getting booked for things anymore. It's more of influencers that's getting booked more than celebrities. Like, from my perspective, I don't really see celebrities, like, I don't know. Like, what do you think about that? Because I just feel like the influencers are taking over. So
influencers do have a huge part in who shows up at these shows too. However, if I'm thinking about some of the biggest times, like Schiaparelli's show in, was it Paris, I think, recently? We were like Zendaya, oh my God.
Yes.
We were, who was showing up, who was wearing Cardi B. We know that these stars are going to be there because, yes, an influencer might be at a Schiaparelli event, but it's not going to be a whole bunch of like,
that's true.
Micro or major. It has to be
like major names.
It has to be major names. So
fashion powerhouses.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, granted, when there's like the CFDA, when they announced who's going to be in New York Fashion Week, Christian Siriano, he provided tickets where people could purchase to his show online from his website.
Hello, can we get a ticket?
And see, that what opens up the door for him to make money, but also people who necessarily don't have the influence, but they have the money, that just want to show up and actually appreciate a good show. So I love brands that do that. Now, granted, there is going to always be a VIP level status when it comes to some of these shows. There's just going to be some that they're dedicated to the fashion community as a whole. But the ones that truly open the doors, or open their collections up to people who are from everyday walks of life, just want to enjoy fashion, I think there's a gift in that as well.
I love that. I love that. Okay. This was a really good topic. I love.
So as we're wrapping up, one of the things that we always want to talk about, we want to look ahead. We want to look toward the future. We think that things are changing. People are looking for new and organic types of ways to enjoy fashion. And there are other cities, other countries that are really influencing the fashion game. And we've talked about a few already, but what are the next fashion capitals you think are forming?
I'm going to say Lagos, hands down. Because the craftsmanship, the creativity, it's out of this world. And I know Africa has been, how do you say, like the goat of the family. And I feel like they are making a stamp in the world, and people are getting to know who they really are, and they deserve to be put on the map. And I think that's happening.
I think that Seoul, Lagos, and Copenhagen are creating infrastructure in the fashion weeks. You're seeing more content. You're seeing people wanting to actually like go and travel to Copenhagen, to Seoul, to ensure that they are getting the best from all countries. The Big Four, they're called the Big Four, which is the Milan, to New York, the Paris and London are the major ones, but these three countries, Copenhagen, Seoul, Lagos, are truly making a stamp in that, and I think I want to see what comes from them more and more each year, even just from a very diverse perspective of fashion. Like, it is an opportunity to see, and I think places like Pacific Northwest, if we want to think about from a state's perspective, I think Seattle and the Pacific Northwest has an opportunity to be one of those hubs.
Please.
Such as in New York. I mean, honestly, I really wish people would see more and more in this arena. And I think it's growing.
It is growing. It came a long way.
It came a long way. And I think we're doing more of an opportunity. We're creating more of a platform and a foundation in the fashion industry as well.
Yes. So when I tell you this was an amazing topic, I want you guys to drop in the comments, what are your thoughts on this topic? This was a really good topic, and we appreciate you guys. Please subscribe, tell your auntie, cousin, sister, mama, everybody subscribe to our channel. We love you guys, and we see you on next week's episode. Bye guys.